only does it have immense capacity, it's also quantum encrypted. Even the Magisters who worked here doing research have said that full data extraction is impossible.
Magisters? Do you mean the Magists who were once allied with the Dark?
More importantly, the enemy is after the Ancestors' data as well. Anyone can watch.
Nothing comes to mind. My only guess is that this place is somehow connected to the Ironheart. I'll know once I have the data. Descendant. Unfortunately, none of the Ancestors' data remains in this terminal. I will check the other terminals, but it seems the Vulgus were successful with their extraction.
That can't be right. If it were possible to fully extract the data, then the Magisters would have already done it.
Until recently, it would have been impossible for the Vulgus as well. However, if they have someone on their side who is very familiar with the Ironheart, then it will have been achievable. By applying algorithms from the Ironheart to military applications, electronic warfare capabilities can be greatly improved. I recommend you investigate the other terminals.
Descendant, did you come here looking for me? It is a shame that I am unable to face you directly.
This terminal also does not contain the Ancestors' data. However, Descendant, I sense that the transmission of the Ancestors' data is happening close by. That is most likely where the enemy command center is located. As the enemy sealed off Kingston's network, transmitting data over a long distance would have been impossible. This means we still have an opportunity to retrieve the Ancestors' data.
Deactivating active camouflage. I'm alive, thanks to you.
I have to admit, not even my arcade can penetrate the quantum barrier of these security devices. Those rust buckets have put some thought into this.
Operation status, jammer installation complete. Using the jammer to neutralize the distress signal sent by Ederlich should allow us to bypass one of the Vulgus' security measures. Your task is to protect the jammer while I work.
Bypass the multi-stage security system, you'll need a unique authentication sequence used by the Legion of Immortality. You need to collect samples from the Legion in good condition and put them in the supply box. These will be analyzed in Alpha, and they'll send for security authentication. deactivation sequence is as good as secured. Good job. This is Sharon. All Vulgus security levels have been successfully deactivated. All units regroup at my position to investigate the Ironheart excavation site.
Regroup? Huh. Yeah, I don't think so. I think I'll sit this one out, Sharon.
What did you say?
Get to the point. It seems as if all of you have forgotten, so...
Sharon, give me the order and I will track him.
Let him be. Jeremy's RK ability is teleportation. We have no way of catching him.
Descendant, I do not choose who I am.
You'll need to leave first, Descendant. Sharon's prosthesis has been damaged from excessive RK use. We'll join you as soon as we can.
Don't worry. You've seen what they're capable of. I hope these repairs can be done quickly.
So this is the Ironheart excavation site that was documented in the Ancestors' data. As you must know, the Ironhearts are mysterious entities that somehow made their way to Ingress. They were first discovered by the Architect. The Ironhearts were passed down to the Ancestors, my creators, and the forebears of the Descendants. We don't know why the Ancestors hid all the Ironhearts. But this much is certain. I was created in order to lead you to them. After that, well, we'll come to that once we find you an Ironheart. These are traces of Ironheart excavation. Ironheart microparticles confirmed. Initiating emergency restoration protocols to repair damaged systems. Descendant, we have retrieved Ironheart elements from the excavation site. Next, I must... Oh no. This wasn't just an excavation site. I need to interface with the quantum monolith, a data processor belonging to the ancestors. This device contains my restoration data, which can be copied using Ironheart microparticles. I can guide you there. However, to access the quantum monolith, Descendant, I must undergo authentication here first. I should still have access, as it was my system and memories that were damaged. Stay while the authentication is in progress.
Core asset. Approaching high risk level. Initiating facility lockdown procedure.
Passively being blocked across the facility. I do have to find my way out, but it won't be easy to maneuver. Please be careful. Excavation site. There must have been countless experiments conducted here using the Ironhearts. Emergency restoration protocols would have been one of them.
and leave. Executing Legion of Immortality General Amon's orders.
Amen. Descendant, I must access the quantum monolith. Defeat the Vulgus. Descendant, even though the Vulgus managed to access the data first, I have been able to restore one of my core functions through the emergency restoration protocol. I am finally able to detect the Ironheart. Let me explain this function and how to utilize it. Descendant. My Arnhart detection system.
Descendant, I've received the report on the results of the operation from Colon Special Forces. It seems the core functionality of the guide has been restored.
Descendant, a quick word before...
HQ, we appreciate the support. The operation will commence once reinforcements arrive.
It'll be fine for a while, all right? Sorry, I wasn't able to help you at
The Vulgus Munitions Factory. It truly is an ominous and horrifying place.
Can you feel that?
I can experience a variety of sensations through the Archae of Descendants, including the phantom pain you feel.
That's for me to deal with, Guide. Don't poke your nose in where it's not wanted. Once I've dealt with my personal target, then I'll ask you to remove the pain.
You refer to the Vulgus you're pursuing.
Descendant, this is a Vulgus logistics facility where raw materials and products needed for the munitions factory are distributed. As this is where the Ironheart particles were detected, we may find a lead in their distribution records. If you can connect your receive to a terminal, I'll try hacking into the distribution records. Activity discovered. A large volume of construction materials have been relocated from here to a suspect zone. At the same time, secret supplies have been transported from there back to here. This is definitely suspicious. I'll send this info to Sharon.
I'm not sure why, but I'm sensing Ironheart particles in the wastewater in this zone. Can you confirm?
I've taken over operation of the environmental data collector we've installed. When we retrieve it, we'll be able to check the environmental parameters without coming into contact with contaminated wastewater. Will there be enough data for you to perform an analysis, Guide? You know our equipment can't detect Ironheart traces.
Once I complete analysis of the composition of the wastewater, I should know why I can detect Ironheart particles.
Then we'd better retrieve the data quickly. It will only be available for a limited amount of time.
This wastewater is composed of Kuiper extracts and Vulgus electrolytes. The Ironheart particles are most likely bound between those two substances. That's why they were detected intact and not dispersed.
If we can find the source of that wastewater, we could trace them more accurately. I have a place in mind. HQ. While investigating traces of the Ironheart, we've discovered a zone in the factory area that looks to have been recently established. Considering the circumstances, I think it's highly likely that there's an Ironheart.
We should be prepared for a challenging situation. We may need to deploy more descendants. Over and out.
Sharon, do we have any tactical weapons that are capable of destroying the entire Vulgus industrial area? If the Ironheart is here, we may be able to investigate after destroying the enemy's facilities.
It's an interesting idea, Gunner. But if it were possible, we would have already. Unfortunately, we don't have the capabilities to create such a powerful weapon. The anti-air gun in the Albion mountain ranges probably our enemy's hitter. That's why the descendants of the Ironheart are humanity's last hope. Closing the dimensional wall to isolate ingress from the Colossi. That would be the ultimate tactical weapon. Anyway, we don't have time to chat. Let's head to the restricted zone.
Tactical target achieved. Zone with substantial logistical activity discovered. A large volume of construction materials have been relocated from here to a suspect zone. At the same time, secret supplies have been transported from there back to here. This is definitely suspicious. I'll send this info to Sharon. Logistical activity discovered. A large volume of construction materials have been relocated from here to a suspect zone. At the same time, secret supplies have been transported from there back to here. This is definitely suspicious. I'll send this info to Sharon.
Descendant, I can
Let's think about that later, if we make it out alive. If the Vulgas have a large assault ship, they'll soon be pouring into this place. Number 17 and I will operate in stealth mode. You stay sharp.
Descendant, I have found a suitable location for detecting Ironheart pulses.
Reloading.
This is a large nuclear reactor, which is connected to this entire zone. By comparing the reactor's pulses with the Vulgus biosignals, I can detect pulses from wide areas. Deactivated, I could detect Ironheart pulses. I'll attempt to trace that location. Descending. I have found a suitable location for detecting Ironheart pulses. This is a large nuclear reactor, which is connected to this entire zone. By comparing the reactor's pulses with the Vulgus biosignals, I can detect pulses from a wide area. Deactivated. I could detect Ironheart pulses. I'll attempt to trace that location. This is a large nuclear reactor, which is connected to this entire zone. By comparing the reactor's pulses with the Vulgus biosignals, I can detect pulses from a wide area. Deactivated. I could detect Ironheart pulses. I'll attempt to trace that location. Descendant, I have found a suitable location for detecting Ironheart pulses. This is a large nuclear reactor, which is connected to this entire zone. By comparing the reactor's pulses with the Vulgus biosignals, I can detect pulses in a wide area. Right up until it was deactivated, I could detect Ironheart pulses. I'll attempt to trace that location. This is a large nuclear reactor, which is connected to this entire zone. By comparing the reactor's pulses with the Vulcan's fire signal, I can detect pulses from a wide area. Deactivated the nuclear reactor. But right up until it was deactivated, I could detect Ironheart pulses. I'll attempt to trace that location. connected to this entire zone. By comparing the reactor's pulses with the Vulgus biosignals, I can detect pulses from a wide area. Deactivated, I could detect Ironheart pulses. I'll attempt to trace that location.
This is believed to be a Vulgus bioengineering facility. Remember the wastewater treatment plant where we found Ironheart particles? The wastewater pipes from there connect to this. We can figure out what's faster when we take a look around. Look for a Vulgus terminal to access it.
Be careful, Susan. I've identified multiple Vulgus signals inside the facility. Expect random hostile encounters.
We're too late. All experimental data has been deleted.
Not all of it. There's a cache of records about the most recent experiments. It's not ideal, but I'll try to restore it as best I can.
In the meantime, you and I might as well follow the Ironheart particles. There are Ironheart particles and faint traces of energy everywhere. Judging by these traces, the energy extracted from the Ironheart was injected into the Vulgus submerged in the Kuiper solution. The Vulgus genes on Kuiper must have fused as a result. The pain would have been terrible. Not even Vulgus could picture.
That's why there were Ironheart particles in the wastewater. But Guide, one of the experiment chambers is empty. Did one of them survive?
The chances of something having survived this are close to 0%, but I cannot be sure. Descendant, I have pinpointed the location where all...
Sharon, I will stay behind and retrieve the cache of Vulgus experiment records. I'm sure they'll contain valuable information.
I'll enter the inner facility first. Join me when you're ready.
I am analyzing the void paradox.
Oh, my beloved daughter died.
If there's something you need, you'll need to pay. Humanity is very weak. That's why humans need us so desperately. Oh, the special human child. What do you need?
Are you ready to be shocked?
Oh, my beloved daughter, Daya. Hold on a little longer. Your mom will save you no matter what.
This operation? It's just wiping them all out.
Let me tell you how I managed to come back from the military.
This operation?
Commencing. Turret. Synchronization operation.
Do as I say, if you want to live.
The Vulgus can't see me. Why? Because I exist in their blind spot.
So, what's my role? Cook? Or arsonist?
What do you get when you mix water and RK? Of course.
With my strength, I will pull everything towards me, even the final victory.
You don't build a reputation. You exploded!
The most important things on the battlefield. Supplies and support, naturally.
My dream is for you all not to get hurt. But nothing at all will get to me.
The most important things on the battlefield. Supplies and support, naturally.
Target confirmed. What do you get when you...
The void is filled with the unexpected. And I enjoy that.
The vault.
Inez Rhea, Hound Unit. Commencing operation.
I will not be afraid. I will surely restore hope.
All the cards on the battlefield